Hello, welcome to my channel, and today we're going to make an easy no kneading bread dough with 6 ingredients. So are you ready? Okay, first we're going to make our yeast. Okay, this is the yeast. 1 tablespoon, teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of sugar, tablespoon of melted butter, and lukewarm milk. Lukewarm, not too hot, because if too hot, we're gonna kill the yeast. Okay, so we're gonna stir just a little bit. And we're going to set aside for at least 5 minutes and wait until the yeast will grow. And then we can add our 8 all-purpose flour. Okay. So we can cover the yeast but not tight. So just leave a little bit like this, as you can see. There's opening in there. And wait until it grows. And for the meantime, we're going to sift the flour. This is 8 cups of all-purpose flour. It's just perfect for the ingredients that we put in together. The good things in making bread is, we can adjust the water and the flour. But this time, we're not kneading the dough. So we just, when the yeast is ready, we can just put all the flour in it and mix it until all mixed. And then we're going to cover it for at least 1 hour or 1.5 hours. It depends when it's double the size. And then we can divide into 2. And we're going to put it in a loaf pan, or we're going to form it. Because today I'm going to form it in a long bouquet bread. And then we're going to put in a parchment paper pan. And we'll rest for another 30 minutes or so until double the size, and we can bake it into the oven for 450 degrees for 30 minutes. And hopefully my bread is ready before 2 p.m. Now is 10:30 because we got invited from our dinner, for a private dinner at 3 o'clock. Okay. And we finished to sift the flour, and we're going to check it out, the yeast, how it's doing. Not even 5 minutes, and then look, it's growing so fast. The technique is, you need to make sure that your water or liquid ingredients is perfect temperature. Not too cold and not too hot because you're gonna kill the yeast. Well, I guess we can add our flour now because it's all grows. The yeast is all set. All right. Oh, we're going to set a little bit flour for later use. Okay, so we're gonna add the flour, sifted flour, 8 cups of all-purpose flour. I like to use all-purpose flour because you can maintain or you can measure or control the leavening that you can add, because when you use bread flours, it's already have a leavening there, and how much more you can add into that ingredients or a cake. So I use all-purpose flour for everything, making cookies, cakes, pastries, and bread. So we're going to mix this. With our wooden spatula, of course. Again, we can add endless the liquid ingredients. So we add 2 cups of lukewarm milk, and you also can substitute the milk into the water, or you can combine. Example, 2 cups of liquid ingredients is you can add 1 cup of milk and 1 cup of water. So as you can see here, we still have a little bit flour, not mixed, so we can test. And good things that I separate some, I keep some lukewarm milk, and then we can add it, like half cup. Okay, keep mixing up until no more flour sticking onto the bowl. So as you can see, it's all mixed, and it should be wet, like look like that. So now we're going to cover with cling wrap. This bowl is too big, so we need to cover one more time. Cover. As you can see, if there's a steam on it because of the lukewarm water that we use, it's supposed to be still warm. So we're going to cover a kitchen towel too, and set aside and wait until it double the size. For the meantime, we're going to prepare our pan. Instead of using a spray for our pan, we're going to use parchment paper. This is very effective and mess-free. I'm preparing 2 pans. I'll see how much, how big that dough is. If we can divide into 3 or just 2, then it will okay. There you go. Just like that. You don't need to add anything. And when the dough is ready, we can just form it in a long bun, and we'll put on this, and then we're going to rise for another 30 minutes, or it depends how long it will grow. Hopefully it's not going to take 24 hours, or else it's not gonna make it for 3 p.m. dinner. Yeah, you can use also the baking loaf pan. You want to make a loaf bread, then you can use your loaf pan bread. And in the same thing, you can just put a parchment paper and you're good to go. Mess-free baking of bread. But today, as I said, I'm going to make a long bun. So we'll just wait for the dough to be ready. One more technique that I'm going to tell you is, if you're going to bake your bread, we're going to get one loaf pan, and then we're going to pour water and put in the oven underneath the pan that with our bread. So in that way, our bread is not so dry, but still crispy and very soft inside. So take note, that is a secret. Now, after an hour, let's see how our dough looks. There you go. It's ready for the first rising. So we're going to divide this and then put in our pan and cover it and rest for another 30 minutes. Look. So first, I need my scrape, because before I'm going to divide it, I want to fold it first. A little bit of flour, and we're gonna fold it inside. Now we can, I guess this is way too big, so maybe we can cut into 3 portions. Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to take one and we're going to roll a little bit form into our floured surface. Okay, so don't forget to flour it and we just form it. Maybe we can just knead a little bit to smoothen up, and we form into a long bun. Yep. So while I'm kneading, it's still rising. Actually, I'm not kneading. Actually, I'm just forming it. Okay, and then we're going to put into our baking tray with parchment paper. Okay. And we cover it. So same thing, we're going to cover and we're going to rest for at least until double the size. So and then we're going to do the rest. As you can see, it's still perfect and smooth. So we're going to put this into the next tray with parchment paper. And we're going to cover and wait to double the size, and then we're going to bake it. All right. So you can knead it for at least 1 minute, or maybe not, so to make that dough smooth. And when it bakes, it's nice. It's not like a wrap roll or grabber roll. So I'm just forming it now into a long bun. It's because it's still rising, so we need to make it sure that our hand is floured so it's not gonna stick. So this is our third bread, and we're going to put into our prepared parchment paper pan. So we'll cover this too with a cling wrap. And let rest for until double the size. So just only for 10 minutes, and look, it's already double the size. So how much more if we're gonna wait for 20 minutes? So we get bigger, but we don't need to because we need to cook. So now, since my oven is not that big enough to fit this 3 tray, so I'm going to move in one bigger tray. Because this bigger one is gonna stay. So I'm just carrying the whole thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to take up the cling wrap cover, and we can fold the parchment paper. We need to pull it gently. We don't want the dough to rip it up. So I'm going to brush this with fresh milk. Sometimes we can also use egg wash, means egg yolk with some water or a little bit of water, or melted butter. But today I'm going to use fresh milk. But before we're going to brush with fresh milk, we're going to make a slit. There you go. See? We just only need like 1 tablespoon of fresh milk, and we're going to brush it. In that way, the outside is still crispy, but inside is still fluffy and moist. So this dough is still rising. So they're pushing each other. But it's okay. So we don't need this, no kneading this bread. We just mix all the ingredients. First, we need to make our yeast first. Put all the butter, lukewarm milk, salt, and yeast. And of course, today I add 1 tablespoon of melted butter. And the technique is you're going to put all the liquid ingredients first. And last is the dry ingredients. You make that yeast perfectly, there's no doubt that you can make a very nice dough. And when you know how to make a dough, and you can make anything in baking or any kinds of bread. You can make plain bread, white bread, or anything. The most important is you made the perfect dough. Okay, so this is ready, and we just wait for the oven to ready. So I preheated the oven for 450 degrees, and we're gonna bake this in 30 minutes. Alright, the oven is ready, so it's ready to go in. So we're going to set for 30 minutes. There. 30 minutes. And look. So we're going to pull down into our prepared rack, cooling rack. forget to turn off your oven. See, you can just slide like that. And still crispy. A little bit burn on that one. There. Our bread is cooked. As you can see, it's crispy, but then if you press it, it's still flappy inside. You can feel it. And you can spread of anything you like, jam or just butter. I'm sorry if I can cut it for you. Okay, well, I guess I can cut it for you, and then I will show you inside. If you use a parchment paper, our tray is all clean and you don't need to wash. So are you ready? Let's see how it looks inside. There. It's soft, but it's crispy on the crust. You can hear it. But look, it's perfect bread. Perfect white bread. Okay, so that's all for our baking today. So just a recap for our ingredients is 8 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon of dry yeast, a tablespoon of sugar, a tablespoon of melted butter, and 2 cups and 1/4 of lukewarm milk. So that's all we need for our delicious bread, fresh, delicious baked bread. Okay, so thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy it. You can make it too. Thank you, and keep safe, everyone. Our virus is still there. Good day, and thank you for subscribing, or if you can click like and share with your friends too, is really appreciated. Thank you. Goodbye.